Hello. Oh, hang on. Oh, hello. We're still in pandemic land, unfortunately. My name is Chris Bryn, and I'm here to welcome you to the main Celtic Celebration 2020 virtual concert series. We've been lucky enough to have some of the performers who we were going to have all the way up here in Belfast in Mid-Coast, Maine. Instead of them being here in person, due to circumstances beyond all of our control, they have been gracious enough to do us a few concerts, which you are now going to see. So without further ado, please sit back and enjoy the music.
Hello, how are you all doing? My name's Kevin Burke. I play the fiddle, mostly Irish music, and I'm here as part of the main Celtic celebration. I'm going to play a few tunes for you. Obviously, the Celtic celebration was originally intended to be a live event, but due to circumstances that I'm sure you're all aware of, it's been changed to an internet event for now. I'm very happy to be part of it, but next year, hopefully, we'll be back in the live arena once more. But in the meantime, I'm going to play you some music. And I thought I might start off with a couple of very well-known jigs. You're welcome to join in if you like. You probably know them if you follow this kind of music. First one's called Morrison's Jig, and the second one's called the Pipe and the Hob. And they go a little bit like this, if not exactly like this. So, 1, 2, 3, hob. you enjoyed that. So I have been playing a couple of jigs. It's kind of customary to follow the jigs with reels. So I'm going to play a couple of very well-known reels that were recorded back in the 20s by a fella called Michael Coleman. Michael Coleman left Ireland in the 20s, made his way over to New York. It was around the time the recording industry started, so he made some records, and those records came back and became highly influential all over Ireland. It's kind of ironic because if he had stayed in his home area, which is County Sligo, he probably wouldn't have been heard very much outside that area. But by leaving and making these records, he inspired the whole country with his wonderful music, and to this day he's still seen as a legendary, very influential figure in the traditional world. Probably his most famous recording is a set of two reels called Bonnie Kate and Jenny's Chickens. And just the other day I met a friend who asked me if I would play them on this video, so here we go. So there we go, Bonnie Kate and Jenny's Chickens. There were lots of tunes named after Jenny. I'm not sure who she was, but there's Jenny Picking Cockles, Jenny's Welcome to Charlie, several others. And Jenny's a much more popular name in Scotland than it is in Ireland. And a lot of the popular tunes played in Ireland started out life in Scotland. And Charlie, the famous Charlie, is probably Bonnie Prince Charlie. So when you look at a tune called Jenny's Welcome to Charlie, the implication is that a Scottish girl named Jenny met Charlie and welcomed him. And I was looking into this one time, and I found out that Bonnie Prince Charlie's mother came from Poland, which I hadn't realised. Excuse me. She was a Polish woman, and some guy fancied her, and she wasn't interested, and he locked her up. He probably didn't realise that that's probably not the best way to win over someone's affections, but that's what he did anyway. He locked her up, and then her maid servant came to visit her, and they pulled that old dodge of switching clothes. So Charlie's mum, her name was Sobieski, Countess Sobieski. She escaped dressed up as the maid. The maid stayed on in the prison cell, and then by the time it was discovered, Charlie's mum was well in the clear. The fellow who locked her up wasn't interested in the maid, so he let her go. Meanwhile, Charlie's mum ran off and met the fellow who eventually became Charlie's father. Charlie was born, and then in my imagination the maid finally made it to France and met up with the whole family, and if her name was Jenny, then it would make sense that she would be delighted to meet Charlie for the first time and give him a big welcome. So that's my theory of how Jenny's Welcome to Charlie got its name. It's quite plausible, but it could be complete nonsense too. It's hard to know. But that's the way history goes sometimes. So I'm going to play a tune for you that's connected to that, but it's not Jenny's Welcome to Charlie. It's another version of the same tune, but it has a different name. It's called The Long Note. And I first heard it as the theme music to a great radio show that was on Irish radio, probably back in the 80s, I'd say. So it's an unusual tune. I hope you enjoy it. It goes a bit like this. Jenny's welcome to Charlie. So here we are, the main Celtic celebration, and if we were at the festival in a live capacity, there would probably be a CD area where you could buy CDs and books and t-shirts and all that kind of thing. So since we're not in the festival arena, we're doing it on internet, I've been asked to show you a few things that are available on my website, which is kevinburke.com. I also have another website called loftusmusic.com. About 10 or 15 years ago, I became my own record company, and I gave it the name Loftus Music. I don't really know what it means to be an official company. It's just me. It's only a name, but somehow it was suggested that I become a company. So here I am. I look much the same as when I wasn't a company, but that's showbiz, I suppose. Anyway, the most recent CD I put out is called Sligo Made. I hope you can see that. I recorded it in County Sligo, which I mentioned a few minutes ago, and all the musicians on it are from Sligo or nearby. I had some great help from many of my friends, so that's a record you might enjoy. And as I said, I became a record company a while back, and in the meantime I put out 10 CDs under the Loftus Music umbrella. So after the 10th one, I thought maybe it's time for a compilation CD. So I've just managed to put it all together during the lockdown. It hasn't been released yet. You're the first people I've announced it to. It's called Travels with Loftus Music, and it features a track or two off each of the 10 CDs. And some of them are my solo CDs, some of them are my work with the Celtic Fiddle Festival. I did a couple of CDs with a great local musician here in Portland, Oregon, a man called Cal Scott. I did some work with another great guitarist, an electric guitar player called John Brennan. We put out a CD together. A local fiddler here in Portland, Bronnie Griffin, she put out a CD. Wasn't sure how to go about it because she'd never done it before. And since I'm officially a record company, I said, well, I'll put it out for you. So that's out as well. And that album is dedicated to all things to do with cats. So if you have any cat lovers in your family or in the neighbourhood, they might enjoy that CD. And I also put out a book recently. It's the transcriptions from my early solo recordings. It's called the Solo Albums, and it's got about 115 tunes, I think, 110, 120, something like that. All taken from my recordings, except for a handful which I wrote. They're probably on different recordings as well. I haven't written many tunes, maybe half a dozen, but they're in the book as well. So all those things are available from kevinburke.com or loftusmusic.com. And probably time for some more music. Commercial break is over, so maybe we'll have a waltz to ease back into things. This one is written by Cal Scott, who I mentioned earlier, a great musician here in Portland. It's called Paris Nights, and it's written in the style of the music you might have heard in the ballrooms of Paris in the 1920s and 30s. It's very romantic, so grab your partner and have a waltz around the room there. So there we go, Paris Nights by Cal Scott. We put that together on a CD called Across the Black River, and that's another book I should mention. All the music from that CD, Cal and I put into a book, and that also is available on the two sites I mentioned, kevinburke.com and loftusmusic.com. And also I give internet lessons over Skype, so there's some information about that on the Kevin Burke site. And if you want to pursue the lessons, you could also maybe look at fiddlevideo.com, which is an online series of lessons that you can sign on to, and they're pre-recorded lessons. Basically, each lesson is a tune, but I do mention various techniques and things as well. And I'm not the only fiddler on there. There are several other fiddlers, different styles of music. And when you sign up, you can focus on one particular player or another, or you can visit everyone and have some tips from the various people that are teaching on there. So I've had lots of comments and lots of contact from people who are telling me they really enjoy that series. So that might be something for you fiddle players out there to look into, fiddlevideo.com. So, and I think on my site there's a coupon where you get a discount. It should be there. If not, I'll correct that as soon as possible. So, I'm afraid that brings us close to the end of today's presentation. Sorry we can't all be there in person, but maybe next year I'll get to meet you all. I'm going to leave you with a few reels, but before I play them, I want to say thanks again to the main Celtic celebration for inviting me to do this presentation. I've enjoyed myself. I hope you have too, and see you next year. All the best. Be safe. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. See you all again. Thanks a million. Take it easy. Bye bye.
Thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. If you've enjoyed it half as much as we have, we've enjoyed it twice as much as you. We'd like to thank again our sponsors, the Bangor Savings Bank, Nordic Aqua Farms, Maine Arts Commission, and the New England Federation of the Arts. Yourselves, of course, for without you, we wouldn't have a purpose. If you would like to donate to the Maine Celtic Celebration, you can find a link to our PayPal on maincelticcelebration.com. We also have a Facebook page where you can like us, if that's your thing, and subscribe and I don't know, all the rest of that kind of stuff, which enables you to see future and upcoming events. And we hope to see you again in 2021.